Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things Mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. Welcome back to the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. This is episode 2, and I am so excited to connect with you again today. And I want to start out by asking you a question. Are you living a life that isn't what you imagined it would be? I want you to take a second to think about your ideal life. What does it even look like? Do you know? And if not, you're in the right place, because I'm going to share with you a little bit more about myself and my story and how I got to even launching this podcast. And it's my hope that through hearing my story, you will be encouraged, you will be validated in your feelings, and most importantly, that you will take action if you find yourself asking the question, what is going on in my life? This is not what I thought my marriage would look like. It's not what I thought my business would look like. And you're just really, really struggling with finding those answers. So the past 15 years as a mompreneur, I have supported and coached thousands of women to believe in themselves, have confidence, and to take their next steps to achieving a joy-filled life. But it wasn't always that way. So over 10 years ago, one statement, one decision changed the course of my life. And had I known then what I know now, I would have made some of these decisions sooner and really avoided some of the hardships that I have had. That one statement that changed the course of my life is something that I keep coming back to, and I keep sharing this story because it's why I am where I'm at today. And it's really important for me to share with you that the mess before the success. So if you have followed me for any amount of time, or you've been a part of maybe some of my Reverse the Burnout boot camps that I've done, or you follow me on Instagram, it may seem like I've always had it all together or that I've never struggled. And I just want to share the mess before the success with you today, because I was a small town girl living in a lonely world for a long time. And so I want to kind of take you there first and let you learn a little bit more about me. So I want you to imagine it's a Saturday and my husband is out enjoying one of his hobbies while I'm at home with our son, Lucas. Now, unlike me, he had lots of hobbies to enjoy, and he did that on a regular basis. Because of that, it created a lot of bitterness and insecurity in me that caused many arguments and times of frustration for both of us. He would go and enjoy his hobbies, and he would come home, and I was that bitter wife. And so on this particular day, I decided to call a friend and complain. Because, girls, that's what we do, right? We call our friends and complain, and telling her that, Shaw was gone again, and just how upset I was about it. And she listened because she was a great listener. And then she said the one statement that changed the course of my life and my marriage. Honestly, I don't know where I would be today had this mentor not spoke truth to me. She said, "He is not wrong. You need to find something to do." Well, that silence you just heard is what she heard on the other end, because I was thinking, come on, she's supposed to agree with me. She's my friend. She should be supporting me. That was not what I wanted to hear. She was supposed to agree with me, right? But I am forever grateful for her truth on that day. I was so tired of living a life and a marriage that was just not what I had dreamt it to be. I knew I had to make a change and find something just for me to enjoy, because it wasn't that I didn't have anything to do. I mean, let's face it, as a mom, we always have things to do. But her point was, he has things that are cup filling for him. He has ways to connect with men and his friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to find some of those things. So I started reaching out to some other women in the area. Most of my friends went away from to college and didn't move back here. So I didn't have a lot of women that I was connected with locally. But I did reach out to the ones that were here and tried to, arrange for like once a week, we would do movie night. And that worked for a little while, but then it kind of fizzled out. And my sister-in-law and I happened to be talking one day on the phone, and she was sharing with me about this new place that she found to get some personalized gifts. And here in the South, we love monogramming and we love personalizing our gifts. So I was super excited about it because I thought, oh, this will be great. I have another company that I can buy from. And so we talked about it, and she kept going on and on and on about it. And then she didn't want to tell me the name of the company because we buy a lot of the same people gifts. So I finally convinced her to share the website with me. And when I went to the website, I saw that they had these amazing, cute bags and gifts, and also a business opportunity. So I wasn't looking for a business, but I was looking for a way to connect with other women and to have something just for me, to have an outlet, to have some girl time, some adult conversation, right? So I really just reached out and talked to Shaw about it. And that's how I started my journey with 31 Gifts. And you're going to hear people that I interview on Turquoise Talks that I've connected with because of this amazing business opportunity. Now, I was not looking for a business opportunity. I had zero experience in running my own business, starting my own business. I didn't like talking in front of people. I had a real fear of public speaking. I had B2Cs, at best in school. So I did not know what I was doing. But my why and the reason for finding something for myself, because I knew I didn't want to be that bitter woman anymore. I didn't want to be the woman that my husband came home to and just really raked him over the coals for going and enjoying something that he enjoyed. So I jumped in with both feet, started my own home-based business, and that's how I became a mompreneur. Now, I want you to fast forward 5 years later, and I had grown that hobby, right? It was really a hobby for me in the beginning. I honestly didn't believe that you could actually make it a career. So that hobby became a business, though. It grew very, very fast and became a full-time career and very, very successful. And even though I loved it, and I still do today, it was no longer like that hobby, that fun thing that I needed just for me. I found myself once again in a place of bitterness, feeling tired, feeling burnt out, unfulfilled in my life. And I'm a worker and I'm a hustler, and I wasn't allowing any margin in my life to just enjoy it and do the things that were just fun for me and not always producing an end result. I was just talking with a woman the other day about this, who having fun in her life, she really struggles with it because she's like, everything has to be productive. And she also struggles with, which I think we all kind of have, we want to be in control of everything. And fun for her feels out of control. And so I think, especially as mompreneurs, that's something that we all struggle with. We feel like every way we spend our time has to be something that is productive. And y'all, rest is productive. Having fun is productive, because if you're burnt out, no one is benefiting from that. No one is benefiting from that. So I found myself sitting on the couch, and I was actually preparing I was reading a book by Jack Canfield called The Success Principles. I'm going to talk more about that on another episode. But I was preparing a training for my team of women. So the book Jack Canfield wrote, The Success Principles, is really what opened my eyes. So he asked me to rate the 10 areas of my life and set goals for the upcoming year. I say he wasn't sitting down with me doing this, but it's a great book. And again, I'm going to talk about that on another podcast. But so I was able to fill out all of the goals for finances and for health and my family and all of those other things. But there was one section that I came to and I skipped it and I went and did some of the other goals. And then I came back to it and I literally sat on the couch, looked at my husband, tears came into my eyes. And I said, how is it that I can set goals for all of the other areas of my life, but I could not think of one thing just for me? That section was hobby and recreation. And again, I sat there on that couch with tears in my eyes when I realized that I had been so focused on my business or on my family or really everything but me that I couldn't write down one thing that I found fun for me. And I remember thinking to myself, how did I get to this place where I didn't know myself anymore? I didn't know what I enjoyed to do for fun. And I began to see other women having that same look on their face that I had that day. And being in the industry that I'm in and coaching women, it's a common look. I can see it from across the room. I recognize it because I've been there. And, in both instances where I needed to find something to do for myself, and then 5 years later where I found myself sitting on the couch in tears, it boiled down to this: making myself a priority and taking 100% responsibility to create the life, the marriage, the woman that I wanted to be. Self-care, I don't like to use that word a lot because most people think self-care is about bubble baths and eating chocolate and watching, Netflix. And that can be a way for self-care, but there's so much more. And we're going to talk about that also on a different episode. But truly making time for what matters most to you, not what society is telling you or your friends or maybe even some family. Like, what really matters to you? Are you spending time on and with you? These are some of the questions and the realizations that I came to during both of these, both parts of my story. It's kind of like part one and part two. And what I learned is that no one will make that change for you. Most of us don't even stop running long enough to realize what's missing. We think it's normal, this pace that we're at, running on the hamster wheel. We say things like, one day I'll get back to, you fill in the blank. One day I'll get back to taking care of myself. One day I'll get back to that fun hobby. One day I'll get back to dating my spouse, when really none of us are guaranteed another day. And it's our choice to either choose you, which is what my branding has been all around, this mission of you choosing you, or living with stress, living with health problems, discontentment, bitterness, unhealthy relationships with your spouse and your kids, just existing in life. So we have a choice to either just exist or to live, truly live your life. And I remember, again, in both instances where I was just at this breaking point, and thankfully I had that mentor who spoke truth and love to me, but then I also had that realization just by reading that book. And so I'm a big encourager of having a mentor, having a coach, having that friend that will speak truth and not tell you always what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And also taking that time for personal development, whether that's through books or listening to podcasts. It's just such a great opportunity to grow yourself and to really have these aha moments. So I want to ask you another question. What picture do you have of the friend, the wife, the mom, the woman that you would like to be? If you could spend time in just enjoying something for yourself, what would you do? Do you even know? Again, I find a lot of women, they just are not sure what they would do if they had that extra time. And if it's just scrolling on Facebook or Instagram, friend, we need to talk, because there's so much more to life than that. You don't have to wait to make yourself a priority, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. By choosing you and making yourself a priority, you will actually achieve a higher level of success, not just in your business, but absolutely in your business, but also in your life. And the really good news is you don't have to figure it out on your own. I hope that you will find this podcast as a place for you to hear stories of other mompreneurs who are making themselves a priority, who are growing a successful business, but they're not losing themselves in the process. that is what happened to me when I was sitting on that couch and I could not create a goal for hobby and recreation. I had forgotten who Martine was. I had forgotten the simplest things like playing music while getting ready. I had a friend, I went to a women's conference, and we were all getting ready that morning and for the event. And she started playing music while she was getting ready. And it was, of course, 80s and 90s. Y'all know that's my favorite era of music, genre of music. But anyway, so she was playing this music, and I just sat there and thought, I used to do that. I used to play music while I was getting ready, and I had turned it into listening to a book on audio or listening to a podcast, which again, I'm a big advocate for both of those things, but I wasn't allowing for fun. And that's just such a simple, inexpensive way to bring fun back into your life, especially if you love music like I do. Have a jam session right there in your bathroom while you're getting ready. You're going to be getting ready anyway. And some days I would just speed through that process because I'm just a high achiever. And so I would just try to get through it really as fast as I possibly could and get to work. And there was just no margin whatsoever. So all of these things is really what motivated me to create Choose You and to help other women to make themselves a priority without feeling guilty. It's why I created the course. It's why I am coaching women on this today, because I'm seeing so many walking around in a constant state of burnout, and there is a better way. I have built a very successful business, and I did it without losing myself in the process consistently. Now, again, I just shared with you that I've had some messy moments. We're all going to have those, and you're still going to have that. And I'm not about being perfect. I'm all about making progress, and I want to help you have progress. And so that's why I created Choose You. That's why I've created coaching for women to help them reverse the burnout, to help them prevent burnout, because it's much easier to prevent a disease than it is to repair a disease or repair, years and years and years of being in burnout, years and years and years of running yourself in the ground. And you look back, or you get to the top of whatever your goal is for your business, and you reach that level of success that you've worked so hard for, and you look back and there's no one to enjoy it with because your relationships have crumbled, or you're unhealthy and you're not even able to enjoy it. So that is why I created the course. That is why I have created this podcast. That's why I'm just on mission, because I see you mamas out there and you're hustling. And I'm so proud of you for the life that you're trying to create for your family and for yourself. I just don't want to see you lose yourself in the process. And that is why I will share my mess with you. I will also share my success and the things that I'm doing to help me to continue to grow a successful business, but also keep some harmony in my life. I like the word harmony versus balance. We're going to talk about that as well. So that's it. That's a little bit more about me. And I'm so excited of what's to come with this podcast. We have some excellent guest experts coming up next. So I hope that you will come back to this podcast. I hope that you will subscribe and share this with your friends. This is going to be an amazing place for you to be honest with yourself, be honest with where you're at, and take action in helping you to get to where you want to go. Because if what you're making priority right now is not getting you closer to your goals, it's taking you further away. So maybe for you today, you just need to slow down and really think about some of those questions that I asked you earlier in the podcast episode, and really reflect on, are you living the life that you imagined you would be at this season of your life? And if you're not, here's some tough love. No one's coming to rescue you. No one's coming to change that for you. No one can put the reps in. Listen, I wish someone could put the reps in for me at the gym, but they can't. I won't get the result unless I actually put in the work. So maybe for you, the first thing you can do is just slow down, take a deep breath, and reflect on where you are and where you want to go. And just know that I will be believing in you always, and I can't wait to connect with you on our next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link. Share this episode or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.